Before you call someone lucky, there is a truth worth sitting with quietly, the kind of truth that does not shout, but slowly settles in the heart like dust after a storm. People often look at the world and see sudden fortune. One person gains wealth, another finds opportunity, another seems protected from hardship, and immediately the mind labels it, as if life is throwing dice in the sky and randomly choosing winners. But if you observe more deeply, beyond the surface of moments, you begin to see that what appears as luck is often the harvest of unseen causes. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Yet, when the fruit appears, people forget the soil, the rain, the patience of seasons. In the same way, what is called luck is usually the result of countless quiet actions, repeated thoughts, and habits formed long before the result was visible. Nothing arrives without roots. There is also another layer that is often missed. Two people may walk through similar circumstances, yet experience very different outcomes. One sees opportunity, the other sees blockage. One remains steady in difficulty, the other collapses. The difference is not always external fortune, but internal preparation. The mind that is disciplined, aware, and patient turns even obstacles into stepping stones, while an undisciplined mind can turn even blessings into confusion. So when someone is called lucky, it is often because their inner world has been prepared long before their outer world changed. Their actions were aligned, their intentions were clear, and their responses were steady. What looks like sudden good fortune is often the echo of long-standing causes finally reaching maturity, but there is a deeper insight still. If everything is only luck, then effort becomes meaningless, and responsibility disappears. Yet, life does not function in that way. Every thought leaves a trace. Every action shapes direction. Every repeated pattern becomes destiny in slow motion. What you call fate is often just habit grown strong enough to look like fate. This understanding removes confusion, but it also removes excuses. It becomes clear that waiting for luck is like waiting for fruit without planting a tree. Instead of asking when fortune will arrive, the wiser question becomes, what am I planting now in thought, speech, and action? There is also a gentle warning hidden here. When you envy someone's success, you only see the result, not the effort. When you judge someone's hardship, you only see the moment, not the long chain of causes that led there. Both envy and judgment come from incomplete vision. A clearer mind sees continuity instead of randomness. True strength comes when a person stops chasing luck and starts cultivating condition, integrity in action, patience in difficulty, mindfulness in daily choices, and awareness of consequences. These are the quiet forces that shape a life. They may not produce instant reward, but they never fail to produce direction. What people call luck is often the visible result of unseen causes, past actions, habits, and repeated choices that eventually mature into outcomes. What people commonly call luck is often just the visible surface of a much deeper process that remains hidden from ordinary observation. When someone experiences sudden success, wealth, or opportunity, it may appear as if life has randomly favored them. However, this is usually the result of many unseen causes working together over time. Every action a person takes, every decision they make, and even every thought they repeatedly entertain, creates subtle patterns that slowly shape their future. These patterns do not produce immediate results, which is why people fail to connect cause and effect. Instead, they mature gradually, like seeds growing beneath the soil, long before any sign of a tree appears above it. When the outcome finally becomes visible, it seems sudden, and the mind labels it as luck. But in truth, it is the continuation of a long chain of conditions reaching completion. Even small habits, such as discipline in daily work, honesty in dealings, or persistence in difficulty, accumulate silently and eventually transform into outcomes that others perceive as fortunate. Without understanding this hidden continuity, people remain confused about why life seems unfair or unpredictable. But when seen clearly, life becomes less about chance and more about causes unfolding naturally into their effects over time. Success or failure is not purely random. The mind's discipline, awareness, and patience strongly influence how circumstances are experienced and handled. Success or failure is not purely random. It is deeply connected to the state of the mind and the quality of one's inner discipline. Two people may face the same situation, yet their experiences can be completely different because they carry different levels of awareness, patience, and mental stability. A person with a calm and focused mind is able to observe opportunities even in difficult conditions, while a disturbed or scattered mind often turns even favorable situations into confusion. This difference is not caused by external luck, but by internal preparation built over time. Every moment of mindfulness, every effort to remain patient, and every decision made with clarity strengthens the mind's ability to respond wisely in future situations. On the other hand, impulsive actions, lack of reflection, and habitual negativity weaken that ability. Over time, these inner qualities become more important than external circumstances because they determine how life is interpreted and handled. What appears as sudden success is often the result of long-standing mental training that allows a person to act effectively when the right moment arrives. Without this inner foundation, even great opportunities may be wasted. Therefore, success is less about chance and more about the continuous shaping of one's mind through awareness, discipline, and understanding of one's own actions. External situations may be similar, but internal preparation determines whether a person turns challenges into opportunities or setbacks. Two people may walk through similar circumstances, yet their lives can move in completely different directions, because what truly shapes outcomes is not only what happens outside, but how each person is prepared inside. One may see difficulty as a barrier, while another sees the same difficulty as a lesson or even an opportunity to grow. This difference is not accidental. It comes from long-term inner conditioning. A mind that has been trained through patience, reflection, and mindful awareness, naturally responds with stability even in uncertain situations. Such a person is less likely to panic, more likely to think clearly, and more capable of making wise decisions. On the other hand, a mind that is restless or untrained tends to react quickly, misjudge situations, and miss hidden possibilities. Over time, these patterns become the real reason behind success or failure. External events may appear similar, but internal readiness determines the outcome. Even a small opportunity can grow into great success when met with clarity and right effort, while a large opportunity can be lost if met with confusion or hesitation. This is why life often seems uneven from the outside, yet it is actually shaped by invisible inner qualities that develop gradually through repeated thoughts, actions, and choices over time. Envying or judging others comes from seeing only results, not the long chain of effort and conditions that led to those results. Envy and judgment often arise when people see only the final outcome of someone's life, without understanding the long process that led there. When success is visible, the mind quickly labels it as good luck, and when hardship is visible, it labels it as bad fate. But this way of seeing is incomplete, because it ignores everything that happened before the present moment. Every person carries a long history of actions, decisions, efforts, and struggles that are not visible to others. What is seen is only the result, not the foundation beneath it. When someone envies another's success, they are usually comparing their present struggle with someone else's finished result, without knowing the unseen cost, patience, or discipline involved. Similarly, when someone judges another's failure, they overlook the complex conditions and previous causes that contributed to that moment. This lack of understanding creates confusion and emotional disturbance. A clearer mind learns to see continuity rather than isolated moments. It recognizes that every situation is part of a long chain of causes and effects, not a random snapshot. When this understanding deepens, envy naturally reduces and judgment becomes softer. Instead of reacting to appearances, the mind begins to observe patterns, and with that comes greater wisdom, balance, and inner peace in how others are seen. Instead of waiting for luck, a wiser approach is to consciously cultivate actions, thoughts, and habits that shape a better future over time. Instead of waiting for luck to change life, a wiser path is to consciously shape the conditions that create meaningful outcomes. What appears as sudden fortune is usually the result of repeated actions, steady habits, and clear intention practiced over time. When a person focuses on right effort in daily life, even small actions begin to accumulate strength and direction. Honesty in speech builds trust, discipline in work builds reliability, and patience in difficulty builds resilience. These qualities may seem simple, but together they form the foundation of a stable and successful life. Waiting for external change without inner effort is like expecting fruit without planting a seed. Life responds more strongly to consistent causes than to wishful thinking. even when results are not immediately visible. Nothing done with awareness is ever wasted because it becomes part of a larger process. Over time, these small and repeated efforts shape opportunities that appear at the right moment, and others may call it luck, not seeing the preparation behind it. When this understanding becomes clear, the mind stops chasing randomness and starts focusing on responsibility. In this way, life is no longer experienced as unpredictable chance, but as a gradual unfolding shaped by mindful actions, intentions, and choices made each day.